broadcasted live.
Hey, who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, and get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
Well, all right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Dan Scott Show. We're live here at Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville. We have been threatening it for a while, and here we are now. Billy's taking pictures of us as we get things rolling here. We will be talking with him coming up a little bit later on in the program. Got a young man sitting beside us here who you should be very familiar with, Taylor Harbin from the baseball staff. How you doing?
Doing great, Dan. How are you?
Good. And I don't think we can hear you very well. Can you hear yourself?
No, I can't hear it through the...
Okay, hang on a second. We'll get that fixed too. It has been a interesting morning so far, but we will get it worked out. Let's try. Talk to me now.
All right. Can't.
Still nothing?
Still nothing.
Okay. All right. We'll get it about it. I think it's fixed.
And it's fixed. I can hear myself now.
Oh, goodness. Well, we can turn everything down and get back to a regular set of ears again. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am wonderful. We opened baseball practice a week ago today, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're 2 weeks away from throwing the first pitch at Latham Stadium.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're ready to get going again. It's been a long break, but we're excited to be back out there, actually be back on the field, getting to do some baseball stuff, get out of the indoor facility a little bit, and get back on the field and just get back to the excitement of the baseball season and competing.
How much have you guys been able to weather the weather in this last week? Because you've had some really, really cold days.
Right. We've actually done a pretty good job of it. We've been able to get outside. I mean, our guys have been able to throw. We've been able to see some live pitching, do some scrimmaging. Past couple of Sundays have been a little tough with the rain and cold weather and stuff like that, but our guys have been doing a great job of getting in the back and, with our indoor facility, being able to pull the nets back and get some ground balls and stuff like that if we can't get outside. But our guys have been handling it really well, and, we've been getting our work in.
That indoor facility has been a godsend, hasn't it? It's
been great. It's unbelievable. You take it for granted sometimes, but, when you finally are able to get back there and do some stuff, when you have, inclement weather and, the different options you can do with the cages and splitting it up into four, making it one big area, you can get a lot of your work done that you couldn't get done normally. So it's definitely been a godsend, and we're lucky to have it.
Just as a matter of getting caught up a little bit, since we were a little late getting started with some technical difficulties, we're live at Hall's Chop House here in downtown Greenville. Behind us outside is the Reedy River Falls and South Main Street. It's a gorgeous view. It was just around back in the conference room and where you can overlook the falls from back in that direction. It is fantastic. And Billy's going to be on here a little bit later on to kind of give us the virtual tour of the place and talk about all the great things that are going on here at Hall's. But location here, of course, location in Charleston and many other Charleston entities that he'll tell us about as well. Coming out of the fall, I know that in talking with Brett, the pitching rotation seemed to be coming out of the fall, Sherman at the top, and then pulling Hawkins out of the bullpen, and then going with Crawford in the 3 spot. Has that held up so far?
So far, I mean, I think obviously Sherman and Crawford are going to be, 2 of the guys that are going to be locked in there. And I'd be shocked not to see Hawkins in there. He's been throwing pretty well so far this fall, and he did a great job last year for us out of the pen. Was probably one of our steady guys out of the pen last year, and had a great year. So I think it's going to be his spot to kind of lose in that sense. But we've got some other guys that are right behind him that are looking to try to jump up into that spot. I mean, we've got a freshman left-handed Matt Lazaro that's been throwing well. We've got Hunter Baker. We've got Nick Verbeck that we're excited to have back finally. And healthy.
Yeah.
So he's been throwing well. So, I mean, we've got some options, but I think Heath, from what he's done for us in the past, I think it's his job as of right now. But we'll just have to wait and see how that shakes out and how the guys perform, because at the end of the day, like Coach Harker tells everybody, the easiest job he has is to fill out the lineup. If the guys go out there and they earn it and they prove that they deserve that spot, then they'll be on there. So we'll see what happens come in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I know obviously pitching is not your main area of expertise on the team, but yet every hitter thinks he knows all there is to know about pitching anyway, right?
Absolutely. Well, I keep telling the guys last year when Coach Davis had his first child, he was gone for one weekend, the weekend we played the Citadel, so I said I took over the pitching duties, and I'm 3-0 as a pitching coach. So I'm the only undefeated pitching coach on the staff, so I try to remind them of that every now and then.
It's an age-old battle between pitchers and hitters. The hitters all think they know pitching better, and the pitchers say the only thing you know about pitching is you can't hit it. So
Absolutely.
So it never ends. I asked Brett about this. I'd just be interested to get your thoughts on it. The way he finished the year at the back end of the bullpen, and he was just electric when everything finally came together. So knowing that, any trepidation about removing him from that role and putting him into the starting rotation, knowing what he was giving you at the end of ball games a year ago?
I think that obviously comes into play a little bit. I mean, you're thinking of that, how big of an anchor he was for us at that part of the game in the bullpen. But at the same time, I think he's got the stuff to be able to jump into that starting role and help us. And with this year, I think we've got some guys that came in and some guys that are going to step up and be able to handle and fill in for that role in the bullpen a little bit, which last year, we had some ups and downs in the bullpen. We had a couple of our guys that were steady for us, but then it was kind of up and down throughout the year. So I think this year we're going to see a little more depth that way, so that's going to help be able to give us a little more leeway to throw Heath up there into the starting rotation and be able to, fill those innings that he had for us in the bullpen last year.
A lot of the focus on having Leo Mazzoni around the program as a special advisor obviously is the impact he can have on the coaches when it comes to pitching, to Brett and Caleb. But for you, as an infielder, as a hitter, what have you been able to glean from having Mazzoni around?
Well, the biggest thing is just picking his brain about, how he went about, handling hitters with his pitching staff. And that's one of the main things that I think he's kind of instilled in a lot of our pitchers, is making sure that they're staying with their strengths and not pitching to, a hitter's weakness, because that's the biggest thing that you run in trouble with. As a pitcher, a lot of times you try to outthink it and you try to pitch to their weaknesses instead of pitching to your strength. Mm-hmm. So as from a hitter standpoint, being able to tell the guys that, as a pitcher, if they're thinking about pitching their strengths, you need to stay with your strengths as well. If they're going to try and pound the ball, outer half, then if that's your strength, then let's stay out there and let's use it to our advantage. And I think that's one of the big things that he's kind of helped with for me to see, is not trying to outguess, too many guys on the mound, and just stay within yourself, stay with your abilities and your strengths, and stick to your approach.
You get an idea about somebody from what you see from a distance, and watching him all those years with Bobby Cox, he seemed to be, a no-nonsense guy sitting there rocking back and forth on the bench. And I remember having an opportunity to interview him when I was at the Clemson station very briefly toward the end of his tenure in Atlanta. And I'll be real honest with you, it was not a pleasant experience. For whatever reason, he didn't want to be there. He had throwing programs that were going on and whatever. You don't know how funny this guy is until you get a chance to meet him and get to know him personally. And I remember the bus ride down to South Carolina last year, and even back after the loss. I mean, he had the whole bus in stitches.
He is. He's an unbelievable guy, and it's been great having him around, not only from, the baseball side of it and getting to pick his brain, but, he always keeps it nice and light around the office when he comes in, and we're always laughing. He's telling us stories and stuff like that. So, like you said, you don't really, get to know what kind of a guy he is until you actually sit down and talk to him and hear some stories and get to see his personality. But he's unbelievable. We're excited to have him, and we're blessed to have him.
This is Taylor Harbin, of course, off of the baseball staff. 2 weeks from today, we first pitch at Latham Stadium against Marist. That'll be a 4 o'clock start, and I'll go ahead and tell you, a 3:45 broadcast time with the pregame show. Later, we'll be hearing from Bob Ritchie from the radio interview postgame last night after Furman's big win down at Mercer, a 12-point victory. The previous 8 games had all been decided by single-digit scores until last night when Furman won by 12 down there. And then in the final segment, Billy Hall is going to come over and spend some time with us. And I did not know that besides being a master restaurateur, this guy's also got a fantastic football background. We'll get him to expand on that a little bit as well. You return a lot of offense, a lot of position players. The main loss, obviously, is going to be Carter Grote. And we're talking about a guy who was so special that an award was named after him before his career ended. All those intangibles, can you expect one person to replace the intangibles that Carter Grote brought to the field day in and day out?
No, I don't think you can. I mean, I think Carter Grote was, a special player, a special kid. What he brought to the program, the attitude he brought day in and day out, his work ethic, to the field and everything that he did. I mean, that's something you can't replace. But obviously we've got some guys that are looking to step up and fill that role as best they can. Obviously we've got, a freshman coming in Ben Anderson that has already stepped in and played great this fall. Think he's got a chance to, to have a really good career for us. As an outfielder and a left-handed hitter at the top of the lineup. We're going to get David Webble back, which is going to be huge. He was actually the recipient of the first Carter Grote Award. So I think he has a lot of the same intangibles as Carter Grote did. He plays the game the right way. He plays hard. So we're looking for big things for him. His freshman year, he was actually our starting right fielder, coming in, and then he had his shoulder injury. So but he'll be back. So hopefully we can get him going again and get him healthy. And then, like you said, a lot of the offense is going to be back. So now it's just making sure that our guys understand that, we lost, a key component, in our lineup, but he wasn't everything in our lineup.
Right.
We still have a lot of our guys back. Our offense is back. We got our whole infielders returning. We're going to have Elmy back again. Hopefully this year we can keep him until the conference tournament. He actually made a joke and said once we get 2 weeks from the conference tournament, he's not going to play anymore until we get there. So I told him we'll see about that and see what Coach Harker thinks. But, I'm excited about what we've got coming back offensively. I think we've got a chance to put up some runs. And, I think the pitching staff with Coach Davis and Coach Harker and what they've done are going to continue on our success from last year. And hopefully we can, make a run at it again.
Brett has been raving about Jabari Richards. Moving him to left field and the way that he hit the ball in the fall. 1 week into practice heading into the season, has that carried over?
It has. Jabari, he came back this fall and just had a different mindset about him.
Because this kid is an all-conference type of difference maker.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got all the tools that you would want in a baseball player, and he's finally taking it to the next level with his approach, with his attitude, with the way he carries himself, and he's seeing success from it. And I hope that he continues to do that, and we're looking for big things for him this year. I mean, I think he's got a chance to, he was the freshman SoCon Player of the Year his freshman year, and I mean, I think he's got SoCon Player of the Year capabilities this year if he keeps going the way he's going, and obviously moving him to left is going to be good for him. I think he's played great out there so far this fall and early this spring. So we're just hoping that he just keeps it going and keeps a even keel about him, and make sure that he just stays within himself.
Scott Keeler from the Furman Sports Report talking about our guest Taylor Harbin. Just dropped a comment on Facebook. Said, how many cool teams has Taylor Harbin been on, talking from a mascot standpoint? You were a Devil Dog in high school. You were a Tiger, which is probably the most run-of-the-mill name
Right.
at Clemson. You were an Osprey, a Rawhide, an Ace, a Bay Bear, and a Zephyr, and now a Paladin.
Yes.
Did he leave anything out?
I don't think so. He got them. Oh, a Skeeter.
A Skeeter. You
Yep.
were a Skeeter.
I was a Sugarland Skeeter, independent ball for half a year.
Nice.
So
That's about as wide and off the beaten path set of mascot names. Of course, that's what minor league baseball's become now, right?
Absolutely. The names that they have now in minor league baseball are crazy. It's actually funny. The New Orleans team that I played for that was the Zephyrs is now the Baby Cakes. So it's crazy what they're doing. They have the Chihuahuas in El Paso now. So.
Well, you know, the greatest minor league nickname of all time was actually a minor league hockey team, and unfortunately is no longer in existence, but was down in Macon, Georgia. And it was the Macon Whoopie.
That's
and
hilarious.
And they had, that was for years. And for whatever reason, I think maybe the franchise left, and when they brought one back, they changed the name. But that's a nice little run. I don't know if I'd be proud of that or if I might want to keep that under wraps. What do you bring? You made it to AAA. Harker made it to AAA, so I would imagine that brings some instant credibility to the kids. One of the things that I marveled at last year, having been around this game for a long time, is it's an incredibly young staff. Sometimes that can work to your advantage, and sometimes you need a veteran presence in there to kind of pull everything together. But in the midst of the 9-game losing streak and everything that went on, you guys never lost this team. How did that chemistry come together so quickly, especially among such a young group of guys?
Well, I mean, I think with the guys on the team, they understand our commitment. They understand what we're trying to build here, and we're trying to, have Furman be one of those names that's talked about every time you talk about regionals and College World Series, and that's what we're trying to build towards. So, being able to be a younger staff and relate to the guys and be able to get out and do some stuff with them. We work out with them. We get out on the field. Coach Harker will throw. So I think there's a little bit of a respect level for the guys that they see us out there in the trenches with them every single day. We're not just telling them what to do and sitting back and watching them do it. We're out there pushing forward just like, we want to get to Omaha just as bad as they do, and not just talking about it, but actually getting out there and working towards it with the guys.
And down at Belmont last year, Coach showed that he could still swing the stick a little bit, didn't he?
He did.
I meant you.
Well, we all did, actually. We actually got out there and had a home run derby when we went down to Belmont, and Coach Harker actually put just as many as I did out, so he was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, but see, you would have done it even without the wind.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but we won't tell him that.
Bottom line, and we'll wrap it up and let you get rolling here, and I appreciate the time. Bottom line, it's a challenging schedule. Again, 11 of the first 12 games are against NCAA tournament teams, and the one that wasn't was South Carolina. But I know that's the way that you guys want it. Brett said something that I thought was really phenomenal to me the other day. We were just talking privately, but he said, we're going to keep acting like we're a program bigger than we are until we become that program.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, baseball is baseball, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, and that's what I've tried to instill in the guys. Doesn't matter what it says on the front of their jersey. They still have to do the exact same things we have to do on the baseball field. They've got to get 27 outs. They've got to touch home plate more than we do. And, doesn't matter what they're ranked, how big their football games are. We have just as much opportunity and chance to win every time we step out on the field as they do. So, we just need to want it more. We got to get out and we have to work every single day and outwork everybody in the country and get better every single day. So, and work on the fundamentals so that when we get out there and we step into those white lines, everything just takes care of itself.
Sounds like a plan. A lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks, but it'll be here before you know it.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it, looking to get back on the field, and looking forward to having you up there announcing our games again.
You wait all year for it, and then once it starts, it goes like that.
It does. It does. It goes by in a flash.
All right. Hey, Taylor, thank you, man.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's Taylor Harbin joining us here at Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville for our Friday edition of the program. We'll step aside for a quick break and come back. We'll let you hear from Bob Ritchie after the game last night in Macon that the Paladins won 85-73. And a little bit later on, the man whose name is on the marquee, Billy Hall from Hall's Chop House, is going to join us. This is the Dan Scott Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPO Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. All right, welcome back to the show. We're live at Hall's Chop House here in downtown Greenville, right on Reedy River Falls. It's a beautiful location, beautiful building here, multi-level. They're open for dinner 7 nights a week and for brunch on Sundays, but as an example today, they do this all the time. Private breakfasts, private lunches for groups, plenty of meeting space here. If you want more information, you can get in touch with them. We'll give you some contact info a little bit later on in the show. Well, last night down in Macon, Georgia, Tom Van Hoy and I had the pleasure of calling Furman's 85-73 win over the Mercer Bears. Season sweep of Mercer after the 3-point win at home earlier in the year, and now 16-7 and 7-3 through the first 10 games in Southern Conference play. It's been a good start, as last night was the beginning of the second half of the SoCon schedule, and things are starting to happen. ETSU won again. They're 11-0, but Citadel upset Wofford yesterday to give Wofford its third conference loss. So you got Greensboro with 2 losses, Wofford and Furman with 3 losses behind ETSU, and so that 2 through 4 is starting to get log jammed. And of course, you're starting to look at seeding possibilities for the tournament coming up in Asheville. Anyway, Bob Ritchie joined us on the radio postgame last night afterwards, and here's what he had to say. Give him a defective headset. There we go. I think we got everything squared away. Is Mac happy?
Mac's happy. Mac is happy. The Dens are happy. And, man, that was fun. That was fun.
It was kind of high octane from beginning to end, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean, they decided that they wanted to play faster. And, they heard us in transition in Greenville, so it's probably smart on their part to try to get the tempo of the game up. That's the first we had seen. Oh, excuse me. That sounded horrible. Apologize. That's the first that we've seen them play at that fast tempo like that, and it threw us off a little bit in the first half. Fortunately, we were making shots, and made shots forgives all sins, right? But we knew when we got to halftime, we couldn't let this keep being a shootout. And, I don't know if we did much better in the second half, but I thought we got some stops that were key. And I thought we did a good job on their three-point shooters, much better in the second half than we did the first half.
Well, and really, if you think about it, from the point that Cummings hit the third one early in the ball game, they went 1 for their next 17 from 3. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But, they came out firing. We were on fire. We hit 15 more tonight, which, it's fun when the ball goes in. We had some guys that just made some huge plays late. Jordan Lyons, what a ball game for him. He's been really coming lately, and it's with his shot, and just really, he's a big moment guy, and we've always known that. He had a big moment down here last year in Macon, and I thought he had some tremendous plays. Everybody's going to talk about the threes he made. The and-one finish off of 2 feet late in the game was a phenomenal play that he made,
and that cut their momentum.
And they did a good job junking the game up, running around there late and made us throw a few balls away. But, our guys, I thought we stayed pretty composed and got out of here with a 12-point win.
Coach, you got contributions up and down your lineup, which you normally do. Jeff Beans comes off. That'll kind of get lost in the statistical shuffle there. Hit 3 big ones for you early on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We had 5 double-digit scores and then another guy with 9 and another guy with 8. Yeah, so, 3 points away from having 7 guys in double figures. But, that's when we're at our best. We're at our best when we really share the ball and we move it. I thought our tempo was good tonight. I thought we brought some fatigue to the game. Just trying to get the ball out quick and get the ball up the floor and get into our offense. And I thought that paid off for us in the second half.
One of the things you talked about in the pregame was the need to control the boards, and they ended up 37-31 advantage and at 11-2 in the second chance points. But that goes back to that shooting well covers some sins, because you hit 15 threes and 3 out distances 2 every time.
Yeah, it's something that I thought we did a pretty poor job on the offensive glass. We only had 1 at halftime. Daniel went and got 2, and both of them were pretty big. But that's something we got to do better, and we've been better at that. But they're big. I know they're missing some guys, but they're not missing their big guys, and that presents some problems for us. But fortunately, they've got to guard us on the other end as well. And I thought that we were able to space their size a little bit. I thought our ball screen offense was really good. I thought we had good tempo on it, and we got some good movement and some good cutting with the ball screen taking place. And, again, just trying to space their length out and open up the floor.
And you're able to turn them over some in the second half, only 2 in the first half. And then as we kind of looked at it early on, they got off to a pretty good start in the third quarter, but turned them over. And at one point in the third quarter, you had an 8-0 advantage on points off turnover. So I thought that was one of the keys. Kind of not necessarily easy baskets, but get you out in transition a little bit.
Yeah, we were over helping in the first half. We were over responding to penetration, and that was allowing them to get the ball out of their hands. And we were in constant rotation a lot in the first half, and so we really tried to stunt earlier in the second half and keep the ball in front. We didn't always do it perfect, but we tried to really stunt and get back to our guys, opposed to committing more guys to the ball, which is why Jordan Strawberry did a good job. He got 6 assists, and but I thought for the most part we kept him away from the rim, which in the past he's really hurt us there.
But when he did drive, man, he hit some tough shots. It's at some point you just have to tip your cap to the other guy sometimes, don't you?
He did, but I'll tell you this. In a game of basketball, if you force tough shots long enough, it's going to come into your favor.
No, you're right.
And he did score 18 points, but he did on 18 shots. And so, when you see the tough ones go in, you don't overreact to that, because, they keep taking those, especially tough twos.
You'll be all right.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And he did hit some tough ones, but he also missed some tough ones late that we were able to board.
All right, so it's on the bus tonight to go take on a Citadel team that knocked off Wofford tonight down in Charleston. So they're going to be playing with some confidence Saturday afternoon.
As they should be. And, Coach Balcom, I've been telling everybody how good of a coach he is, and he does a great job. And they find ways to take what they do and make it complicated for you to prepare for. And so, we're going to enjoy this one tonight. We're going to get on the bus, and we're just going to enjoy this. We've tried to do a better job of enjoying winning. And not just being so quick to flip the script and what's next and who we got, and just, winning's hard. And we're 16-7 right now, and we're not going to go through this and just continue to, what's next? Just, hey, you know what? You went on the road tonight. You got a double-digit win. You played really well. Just go enjoy that. We'll get to Citadel tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go on Saturday.
Sounds good, Bob. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, that was our interview post-game with Bob Ritchie from courtside last night in Macon. Paladins won it by a final of 85-73. The other games last night, we mentioned the big upset. Citadel knocked off Wofford 80-78 down in Charleston, and of course that's where Furman is heading on Saturday. Greensboro 73-51 over VMI. ETSU by 20 over Sanford 96-76, and Western Carolina eked out a 2-point win at home over Chattanooga 70-68. So the Southern Conference standings look like this: ETSU running away from everybody, they're 11-0. Then UNCG at 8-2. Wofford and Furman are both at 7-3, followed by Western Carolina at 5-5. Sanford's 4-7, Mercer and the Citadel 3-7. Chattanooga and VMI are 2-9. So that's a look at your conference standings. When we come back, he has just made an on-camera appearance. Billy Hall will join us, and we will talk some restaurant, we'll talk some football, we'll talk whatever we can get away with here in the next bit. Live from Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville, it's the Dan Scott Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
All right, 10:44 and down the stretch we come. Final segment of the show, final segment of the week. Live from Hall's Chop House here in downtown Greenville. I'm Dan Scott. Our thanks to Taylor Harbin for joining us a little earlier. And, of course, talked a little bit of Furman basketball in the last segment. Before we bring Billy on, I got to drop this stat that Scott Keeler posted a moment ago. From last night, starters John Davis, Andrew Brown, Daniel Fowler, and Matt Rafferty combined to play 121 minutes, combined for 15 assists and 0 turnovers in those 121 minutes. That is getting it done. Yes, it will. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing great. Thanks for being here.
You guys have a beautiful place here, and I know most people know that already, but this is gorgeous. Everything from the decor to the view. It's a great spot.
Well, we love it. We love it. Our family's excited about being here in Greenville, and my brother went to Clemson. I had a couple cousins that went to Furman, and we want to be heavily involved with this university in the area. I mean, we love this community, so we can't wait to be here for many years.
Been almost 2 years now. Is that
almost
right?
2 years, yes, sir.
Well, what was the impetus or the motivation to bring your Charleston brand here in Greenville and give it a run?
I think the biggest part of what we do is touching people and talking to people every night. I think just getting to know so many great people that live up here that came through Charleston every day saying, come on up. And we were just fired up for the last couple of years evaluating it, and we finally found this great spot and said, let's go. I think the people really is what brought us up here.
In your business, as in the radio or talk show business, how we're doing it mostly on the web now, you have to be able to relate to people, and because if you can't, you have no chance to succeed.
Absolutely. I mean, our staff is what makes us, and giving them the best service we can every night, and throwing a party every night. That's what we're doing, and the people of this community are amazing. Just getting to know the Furman coaches, and we're so excited to be up here. The Furman football had a great year, and basketball's rolling, and baseball is going to be even better. I mean, how about having Leo Mazzoni on your staff?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
special advisor. That's not bad. That's pretty good stuff right there. I want to get into your football background in a minute, but
Absolutely.
But before we do that, we talked about bringing the brand from Charleston, the original Hall's Chop House in Charleston, and that's just one of several entities that
Yes,
you have
sir.
down there, right?
Yeah, we a couple years ago we purchased this old location was High Cotton, and we changed it over to Hall's, and we have a High Cotton down in Charleston. We have a slightly north of Broad, which is Snob, which has been around for about 25 years, and we have Old Village Post House, which is a bed and breakfast and a restaurant there right in the Old Village part of Mount Pleasant, right over the bridge, and we have Arita's Seaside Grill right on Folly Beach, which is a great, fun. We're one of the first restaurants right off the beach, so it's about a 30-second walk. And then we have a new, I guess what you want to call it, dimension to our group is Hall's signature events. We have a huge wedding site. We hold about 250 people right downtown, right behind Snob. So we can do all kinds of parties, bachelor parties, bachelorettes, to weddings, to radio shows, anything you want.
And so then it's you, your dad, and your brother.
And my mom.
And your mom.
Mom's the key.
Yeah, well, as is always the case. So that's just 4 of you to run all that, which means you have to have not only a fantastic staff, but there has to be an extraordinary amount of trust between the family and the people who are doing the day-to-day operations.
We're only as good as our staff. I mean, we have 617 employees, and we're growing. We hope to maybe do something else here in Greenville, in the next couple of years. But we're only as good as our staff. I mean, just like you. I mean, you're only as good as your crew you're working with.
Yeah.
And we're lucky. We got to trust them, and they do a great job. And we try to lead them in the right direction and listen to them every day and try to get better.
When you do a TV broadcast like we do for ESPN3 for the basketball games, Brian and I, we can talk all we want to, but if the camera guys aren't doing their job and the producer's not doing his job and the replay is not doing her job and all those other things, none of it matters.
Exactly. I mean, from our dishwasher to our server assistants to our bar backs, we can only go as far as they do, and then we serve. We're just like a football team or a sports team. We're only as good as our last steak we serve. We're only as good as our last customer that leaves the restaurant every night. So.
This is Billy Hall. He is is it fair to call you the owner, or is it family owned?
Family owned. My mom and dad.
Yeah.
And my dad started this with my mom.
Right.
And their first move when they got married was to Charleston, 1970. And Dad helped redo the Mills House Hotel. And I was born in Beaufort. My dad, mom, and we're living in Hilton Head Island, and we had to come off the island. My brother and I were both born there in Beaufort.
Well, you're the one who's burning the roads up between Greenville and
Yes,
Charleston
sir.
multiple times a week.
Yes, sir. I love coming up here, and I'm traveling at least I try to get here as many days as I can a week. So
we were laughing before the show started while I was setting up with your family being so entrenched in the restaurant business for so long. I asked you if growing up, if you took one look at as it was going on and said, "Man, I want no part of that," and you said, "Yeah, that was the attitude you had early on, right?"
Exactly. I never saw my dad growing up 7 days a week unless I came to work with him.
Yeah. And yet here you are.
Yes, sir. I was in sports. I did sports for quite a while, and my dad called me and said, "Hey, we're moving down to Charleston. We're going to invest down there and really get heavily into restaurants down there." And I said, "I'm in. Let's go."
Yeah. Let's talk about that sports background. I found it very interesting because you've held positions collegiately. You've held positions in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
You have a very unique connection to the St. Louis Cardinals, which I think we want to explore. So just kind of let people know when you talk about having a sports background, you're not just throwing that out there lightly.
No, I started in 7th grade as a bat boy and worked my way up to assistant clubhouse manager for the San Francisco Giants. And then after college, I went to Mississippi State. One of the reasons I went to Mississippi State is Will Clark. Became real good friends with Will Clark, our old first baseman for the Giants. But then after college, I got into coaching and worked University of Utah for 4 years. I was a director of football operations, recruiting coordinator there, and then moved from there to the 49ers and did almost 6 years with the San Francisco 49ers as director of football operations. And then I left the Niners and went to San Jose State and did 3 years there. And then my dad called me and said, "Look, you want to invest and be a partner with this?" And I said, "Well, let me give it a shot." And we started, and here we go.
Here you
We're
are.
10 years in, and just trying to get better every day.
Yeah, I have been to to San Jose, California. It's a beautiful part of the country. The football program struggles a little bit, though.
It does. It's coming, though. They got a great new coach, Brett Brennan, and they're moving forward. I was there with Dick Tomey. Dick was the legendary Hawaii coach and University of Arizona Desert Swarm. Dick was on our staff for a year at the 49ers, and we became real close, and I wanted to go work for him, one of the best guys I've ever been around. So.
This is, again, Billy Hall. He is the part of the ownership family group here of Hall's Chop House, and they have all those places he mentioned down in Charleston as well. Tell them about your connection to the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm a Reds fan, but I'll let you talk about the Cardinals.
Absolutely. Well, Mike Shannon, longtime St. Louis Cardinal player and radio announcer, is a great friend of our families. My mom and dad were really good friends with he and his wife, and Mike's kind of like a second dad to us, godfather of myself and really for my brother, and just been there for us our whole life growing up. That's kind of how I got involved with the Giants.
Yeah.
My dad was running the Ritz-Carlton out in San Francisco, and my dad and Mike go back to the 60s. Wherever we lived, we moved all over the country doing hospitality business. So Mike and him always stayed close, and Mike brought me out to the locker room one day to the Cardinals, and we went over to the Giants side. Murph was our old equipment manager. He's been with the Giants for almost 60 years. Anyways, he called me Red, and I was in 5th grade. He said, "Come and see me when you're in 7th grade." So I did a weekend series, and he kept me on. And I still keep in touch with a lot of the old guys we had play there. And Dusty Baker was our batting coach at the time and became our manager. And Bobby Bonds was our longtime Giant, but Barry's dad who passed. But I got to meet so many great guys come through the organization. Darryl Strawberry, Deion Sanders, Barry, Matt Williams, Will Clark, Rod Beck, Mike Jackson.
Yeah, those are memories and opportunities that a lot of people dream about having. You got a chance to live it out. You have to feel very fortunate.
I'm very fortunate. I mean, we kind of brought the sport. I try to bring the sports mentality to the restaurant business. I mean,
and describe what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, you can never let up one day. I mean, one pitch, we're only as good as one guest coming in. I want the people walking in at 4 o'clock to have the same experience at walking in at 1:30 in the morning. High energy and be well taken care of, and can't take anybody for granted. Just like in sports, you can't take any at bat or any pitch or anything you're doing for granted. I mean, Furman guys are out there probably watching film right now. The coaches from last night basketball. I mean, they're just looking at every rep and every screen or every turnover they made or every loose ball they got on. We got to be that aggressive. Anybody that calls, we got to be aggressive and treat them well on the phone. And
how do you balance? Because people who were listening a moment ago heard Bob Ritchie talk about enjoying last night's win, and he said that he thought they had gotten caught up a little bit and always moving on to the next one and never taking a moment to take a breath and savor that victory because they're so hard to get. And at the same time, there is the next game that you have to prepare for, and you have to put that one behind you, win or lose. You said something earlier, we're only as good as the last steak we served. What's the fine line for you from a restaurant standpoint of savoring the good days, but also not getting too complacent?
Well, I remember too often. And I got to kick myself a lot. I remember the guests that might complain about something or gives me a negative feedback. I remember them a lot more than the other 300 people that left happy.
Yeah.
And I guess that's very similar to sports.
That's human nature.
Exactly, and especially sports.
Because nobody likes to be criticized.
Exactly, but they're when I look back at it, they're helping us get better.
Sure.
If I'd rather have them tell me the mistake we made so we get better from it.
Right.
And I thank them usually for telling me when we make a mistake, because we're going to make if we didn't have a good night unless we make a mistake. I mean, it's kind of like sports. You don't have if you miss a block, it's because you were getting blitzed. I mean, you're going to have issues. I mean, just like Sunday, the Patriots are going to make some mistakes, or the Eagles are going to make some mistakes, but they're in the Super Bowl for a reason,
right?
And they're doing something right. So that's the way I look at it. If we only have 50 guests in here, we're not having a good night. If we have 350, 400 people in here and it's rocking, it's loud, we're going to have some issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything you do in life. You're never going to achieve perfection, but you always strive for perfection.
Exactly. And we got a long ways to go every day is the way I look at it. It's a brand new day, and we got to start over. We have a lot of guests that walk in tonight that never been here before. They don't know anything about our past or what we've done in Charleston, so we got to show them why we're the best.
Let's talk about your menu. I tell people every single day that it's the Allen Brothers Prime Steaks out of Chicago, and then everything else falls into place under that.
Exactly. You know, we go up twice a year and meet with them in Chicago. And we have the butchers know exactly what our chefs want, the exact cuts that we want, and we're communicating with them every day. It used to be a family-run business that my dad goes way back with in Chicago, and they get all prime beef for us, and they ship it in twice a week for us. So I mean, we're trying to get the best and give our customers the best every day. And we also have great seafood. I know I'm always on a diet. I need to be. So I mean, you can get a lot besides eating steak. You know, a couple times a week I'm eating salmon. I had scallops last night for dinner. We got a lot of fresh seafood that we get every day too. So
my wife loves well prepared salmon in a nice restaurant, but she's very particular about it. She's very picky about it. So
we'll see tonight.
I love this. I love this hat. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's got the cow dissected into the different cuts of meat here at Hall's Chop House. That's outstanding. The integration into the Greenville community obviously has gone well.
It is. We love the community here. We're trying to get involved even more every day. And we have the Heart Ball coming up that we're heavily involved in, and a lot of other organizations. We have Clemson being so close too. We've done a lot of things. I don't know if that's a good thing to talk about Clemson on here, but my brother went there, so we do a lot of things with the president and the school there. So,
but you know, you can't just show up in the community and say we're here, come see us.
Exactly. We got to work and get out and talk and be here every day as much as we can. So my mom and dad come up a lot, and my brother, we're here in the community as often as we can be.
Is Dad coming up to inspect your work?
Exactly. Every day. I just talked to him on the phone before I went on the air.
Yeah, going down the checklist. Have you done this, and this, right?
He stays on me.
Yeah.
I learn so much from him every day. That's why I came to work with the family. We love being together, and I learned he's kind of like an old ball coach, probably like Leo Mazzoni is. He's probably forgotten more.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, just says a few things here or there and stuff where like I'm amazed that he picks up on why, you know, there's a napkin or something's off, a picture's out of place, or a chef too slow getting the food out or something.
Yeah.
He just spots something quicker than I'll ever spot it.
You know, and it's a unique dynamic, and I have a bit of a background in this because my wife and I owned a restaurant for a year back in 2009 and had some level of success with it, but decided that we love each other, we love living together, but we just couldn't work together.
You're right. It's not easy. And we've had a few disagreements.
So that's a dynamic that has to be negotiated very carefully.
Well, if we didn't have my mom, she's the one that keeps everybody straight. And
is she the peacemaker or the one who lays down the law?
She does both.
Billy Graham always said that while he was out doing the Crusades, that his wife Ruth stayed home and raised the children, and had a congregation of 5, and she had a Bible in one hand and a hickory stick in the other. So I kind of get the idea that maybe that's kind of like your mom.
Well, she can definitely. If we're having trouble at a table, I send her over.
Oh yeah,
she can definitely calm it down and get to the bottom of it.
So she'll smooth the customers, and she'll come back and read you the riot act.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, good.
She's still getting on me every day.
That's what they do, man.
She's the best.
What above and beyond anything else? What do you want people to know about this place?
I really want them to know that we're here for them. I mean, even if they don't like steak, I mean, we have a lot of vegetarian to gluten-free eaters to people that don't even want to be around steak. We have a lot of other things for them. They can come in and listen to live music every night. We have a breakfast group going on downstairs right now. We have a lot of private function space here.
Yeah.
I think we just want to be there for the people, for everything. I mean, if they want to just come and eat salmon every night, or we can do everything. If they want to just come and have a glass of water and listen to music, we do twice, so we go from 5 to 8, and then from 8:30 to 11:30 or 9 o'clock. Sometimes we'll start the music. So we have 2 different shifts every night of music, and we just want to be for the people, everything, not just steakhouse. We want to be anything they want, from oysters to Oyster Rockefeller to if they just want to have chicken tonight. You know, we want to.
You want it to be an experience they're going to remember.
Exactly. We want to take care of them better than anybody else in the country does, hospitality-wise. We want to, you know, if they want us to back off and not be around them too much because they're in a heavy meeting or they're having a date, if they're having their 50th anniversary, or, you know, we had a couple in last night on their 67th anniversary.
Wow.
We want to be that special place for them. If it's, you know, on a Sunday night, we're open 7 nights a week, so when we have brunch on Sundays, we just want to always be that place for them, no matter what.
people have questions, they want to find out more about some of the, not just the menu, but some of the meeting space opportunities. I mean, we're telling them about it every day, but tell them, from a web presence. I know you're really heavy into social media as well.
Social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then our website, hallschophouse.com, they can go to.
And that covers both locations, right?
That covers all. They can go one stop there. They can do both locations.
That's fantastic.
If they're down in Charleston as well. So.
Well, I know that in the conversations you and I have had that you're really wanting to make an imprint with the Furman community, and I can tell you this, as we had Taylor here, people who may watch their social media here at Halls, you will see on a regular basis pictures taken with Furman coaches and other Furman people who come here and enjoy this place and support this place, and we encourage you to do the same. And I know you're trying to make some real inroads into that Furman community.
We are. We're not going to go away either. We're going to be there for them if they want to have receptions or us come and cater at their house. We had catering last night for the family that we do. We can do anything for them. So we want to, if we need to bring food over to the stadium or whatever we can do to help make them better, and from the whole university standpoint.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. I appreciate the the hospitality. Thank you for inviting us, and hopefully it's something we'll be able to do a little more often.
But let's do it.
Next time we'll do it when the place is packed, and do a nighttime show here, and get the music blaring and people going, and we'll be in the way and see how good your staff really is.
Exactly. Let's go.
Billy, thank you, man.
Thank you. Great show.
And with that, that's going to put a wrap on things here on this edition of the program. I'm going to thank Billy again for not only hosting us, but for the hospitality, and for Taylor Harbin for being here on site and taking some time out of the schedule to come down and hang out with us. We'll be back on Monday in studio talking about another, hopefully, Furman victory, another SoCon weekend, recapping a Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Eagles. And because Dave Glenn's my buddy, go Eagles. And we'll, as always, have an awful lot to get in over the course of the hour. And don't forget, Furman spring practice starts today. So a little football for you here in February as well. Until Monday, actually, let me back up. Until Saturday in Charleston for the game with the Citadel, 12:30 airtime, 1 o'clock tip on the Furman IMG network. That'll be next. And then the show back on Monday in studio. For Billy and everybody here at Hall's Chop House, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you, and so long, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Monday.